Alright, hello and welcome to the Devstream 98 breakdown. We have a ton of stuff to go over, so let's just jump right into this immediately. First and foremost, they introduced the Twitch drop system. So, this is a new system for Warframe that is going to be integrating a lot of stuff with Twitch into the game. There was already the previous promotion with the free Prime with Prime stuff, but this goes even further. So, first things first, if you have your account linked with Twitch, you're going to get the Sindana that you see at the top there. It is a remix of a Sindana that is already in the game, although the Twitch cosmetic options are pretty good for the Twitch skins we already have in the game as it stands. So, just for linking your account, you're going to get that on the launcher PoE. Beyond that, though, you're going to get periodic rewards that range from anywhere from, like, boosters, cosmetics, all the way up to prime parts and other items, just for watching whoever you like to watch stream Warframe stream. Hopefully, that includes me, and I do appreciate it. Beyond that, just for watching an hour, anybody who watches an hour of Warframe period, doesn't have to be a partner, whatever, will get the totem decoration for their ship, which is... everybody likes cosmetics. And then finally, there's going to be one exclusive cosmetic that you can only get from Warframe partners who survive a night in the Plains of Eidolon. So, for that, I imagine many of the partners are very experienced, and I will be very directly scheduling when I am going to do that achievement. So, once we have it down for when PoE is actually coming out, the actual release, like, day, I will be scheduling a specific time to do that so that everybody can get that exclusive cosmetic when it's up. So, look out for announcements on that, and there are a few other Twitch announcements that we gotta go over today that are me exclusive. But, that's the Twitch drop system. That's gonna be really exciting, and I hope you guys come hang out on the stream more and get some goodies, basically. So, with that, that was the first thing they talked about. Beyond that, we heard something, or some stuff about the stances that are going to be coming to PoE. Originally, Jeff had said 6, but we all knew that that was way too ambitious, because that is a massive amount of work when you also have to animate Eidolons and all kinds of other business. So, we are, and this is a preview of 2 of the stances, which is the dual blades and the single sword stance we're getting. So we're getting dual blade, single sword, polearm, and it was undecided whether or not we're going to get a single dagger stance or a dual dagger stance. I personally am of the mind that dual dagger would be more effective to give a stance to, because if dual daggers are ever going to be of legitimate use, they need a massive, like, they need a stance that is way further, it needs to be better than Cleaving Whirlwind for daggers to be useful. Like, that says a lot about the terrible position dual daggers are in, I think. But it literally needs to be that good to give dual daggers a shot right now, because their range is shit and everything about them is shit. They're like the worst classification of melee weapon, basically. So, hopefully those are the ones that get the stance, and it's amazing for them when we have a reason to use them again. Beyond that, we got some deluxe skin stuff, and first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Mag deluxe skin, which is coming very soon. This is in-game. It's going to be coming with a deluxe Tonfa skin, which should be very nice. And then beyond that, we have a new concept for a deluxe skin, which is the Octavia deluxe skin. So this design was done outside of DE, basically, and they just let them have free run of whoever they wanted to make a deluxe skin for. And they chose Octavia. This is a really interesting, weird design that's very infested looking. And if this comes out, like, around Halloween time, I think it'll be pretty appropriate, honestly. And it's just so weird. Like, it's so far off, like, the beaten path for Octavia's design that I'm super into it. So I can't wait for that to come out. That should be awesome. And on a minor change, the focus rework is coming. So, this is the basic stuff that they put out about what you need to know about focus mode. Here's the actual big picture. Everything you know about focus is going away. They are literally destroying it. Naramon, Shadowstep, gone. Energy Overflow, Zeneric, gone. Unairu being trash garbage, that's gone. That's a good note. Good note. Unairu is gone. All that stuff is gone. All of it's gone. It's going to be heavily focused on just your operators' physical abilities as they step into their role as, like, a tag team of the Warframe and operator fighting Eidolons and stuff. Focus is going to be way more focused on fighting and getting, like, stat buffs and such like that. So, the focus we know now is gone. Whether or not that is a good thing remains to be seen. We won't know until PoE. But because you will get to use all of your accumulated focus points, here's the thing. This is really important But sticking with the themes of each focus school, this is what you need to know. Unairu is like, well, let's set the basic schools. Unairu is defensive. Madurai is offensive. Zeneric is energy management. Like, these all the schools have themes. So if you've never put work into Unairu because it sucks, now might actually be the time to get a couple 100K worth of points in case that's how the health upgrades for your operator are gated, because you're gonna need those. So that is just my thoughts on it. I don't know if that's gonna be the case, but if you have 0 Unairu, it might actually become fairly important for the survivability of your operator. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. With that, moving on, we have the glass frame. We got some details on the abilities, and they're weird, interesting. I'm kind of into them, but like this is one of the ones where the numbers have to line up. So the first ability is a glass sword that comes out of her hand, and she just stabs an enemy, and it can hit multiple enemies, and you can hold them in place, and they can't do anything, and it also does damage. So that's interesting, like a weird new kind of crowd control that we haven't seen before, which is fine. Her second ability is a damage AoE that you can put on allies, you can put it on enemies, you can put it on yourself. It's just glass shards flying everywhere. Whether or not that damage is actually good remains to be seen. I hope so. And that ability is entirely reliant on just the numbers working out in the Warframe's favor. Ability 3 is the one I'm the most worried about, because you summon mirrors, and then enemies are aggroed to those mirrors, and when they shoot the mirrors, they shoot themselves. There is a big issue with that. The damage that you could get with the mirrors is almost certainly going to follow the trend of enemies can't kill enemies. As enemies get higher in level, they do way less damage than it would take to kill them. Like, a heavy gunner could shoot itself for like an hour, easy, and still be alive. Like, it could just unload, never missing a shot, always hitting itself, and it would never be a problem for the heavy gunner to survive that if it's like a level 100 heavy gunner. So that ability actually being useful might be a little rough. I hope there's something more that the mirrors do to actually make that viable and not just, I don't know. It just doesn't see, that ability seems really, really rough. On the other hand, the 4, her molten glass ring, she can press and channel 4, and it's just this expanding wave of molten glass that she can stop at kind of any point. And enemies passing through that ring will get covered in molten glass, and then eventually just harden and freeze in place, which seems pretty damn effective. Along with that, enemies that are frozen in glass, it has synergy with her 1 to shatter them, and then like do a bunch of damage directionally with the shattered glass and all that business, which seems really cool. And this passive is up for change, but it sounds like one of the best passives I've ever heard of, which is if she's in bright light, sometimes just a radial blind will go off. Like, sometimes she's just gonna have radial blind if she's under a light, because glass and like calling it glint, and that seems cool. So she will be coming in PoE. That is all the non-PoE news, basically. Glass frame I sorted out just to separate this up a little bit. This is part 1 of what we're going to be going over. The next part is way longer. So, coming into that, we're going to talk about the Plains of Eidolon. So, we have Master Tease and I, who is the Beastmaster, Drac and Feral Kubro skins. This is probably also where we're going to get a bunch of other, like, animal skins and maybe bird pets eventually, TM, because he has a pet bird. Who can say? Hawk's Anvil, we've talked about this a lot. This is the weapon crafting. You're going to be using standing to buy weapon parts. There are probably going to be other ways to acquire weapon parts, but this is going to be one of the ways to do so. Having a consistent way to do that is nice, and standing is going to work how we have all known it to work, except for you cannot go negative, which is a smart decision, I think. Moving on, we have Nakak, who is the Nakak. Man, his name is really unfortunate, isn't it? He's the mask seller. He can sell Warframe masks, whether or not those are for Warframes, for funnies, or for operators for some other unknown purpose. I don't know. But the lore is that they are fun children's masks, so you're going to be able to get those. And then we have Kanzu, who is our quest giver. He's the guy who needs water. He's going to have random quests. The rewards were not final at all final, but they look to be randomized rewards, kind of like how sorties work, basically, that have different rarity tiers and all that business, and those seem like a good addition to keep you always like coming back and then going out and doing a bunch of stuff, which seems good. And also, it's worth noting that those jobs will vary across a lot of player experience. There was a lot of, in the chat, people being like, well, I don't want to do, like, this, like, level 20 thing for credits and then maybe a good thing. But they clarified that those are for new players. There will be like much higher level, like level 60 plus content that you're gonna be able to like take this outpost. It's much farther away, and do all that business for players who are more experienced, like probably anyone watching this video would most likely be. Beyond that, we have Old Man Sumbat, who is our ore vendor, and he does the mining business. So there's mining, there's a new mini game associated with it, so on and so forth. It seems like really forgiving and like pretty simple, so it's not going to be a huge pain in the ass. If you do not want to mine, those items are going to be tradable, so you will have a way out if you don't want to do the mining thing, although it seemed, like I said, pretty simple and easy and just a thing you'd do out in the world, which seems fine. So he's the one that's going to be dealing with refining those materials and stuff that we have from past knowledge. Know that that's going to be in arcanes and all that kind of business. They talked about the caves maps and map node discovery. It's basically going to be like a Far Cry style, this is an outpost, mark it on your map, get fast travel points, so on and so forth, based on what they said. So that seems like it'll be pretty solid. That seems open world, as it were. And then beyond that, we have the in-planes alerts. So basically what's going to happen, and this is what they called it, this is a placeholder name. This is what they called it. Basically, the Lotus is going to fucking come on comms and be like, hey, there's a drone down, or there's a Grenier beacon that's a distress call that just went off, go murder them, and so on and so forth. And you'll have an event to do there. And when you do those events, say you kill all the Grenier in the area, it'll pop a reward, give you that reward, and then save all your current progress in the plains. So it's not going to be do the event, win, and then, oh, I have to go back to town. It's going to be that saved, so now you can go and do other things. So having the periodic saving throughout the plains means you're not going to have to go back to town unless you actually want or need to, which will be very good. You do still have limited revives, and they did not talk about replenishing those in the plains at all, so I think you're going to have to be careful of that still. Along with that, it seems very, very full of enemies, which was really cool. The amount of enemies we were seeing in this demo was, like, the ideal. So many enemies, just all over, fucking dropships coming in, Arcwing enemies coming down for, like, airstrikes on Warframes and all that. And then, they said that it was currently balanced for 4 players, and Rebecca was a single player. I have been asking for this for a long time, and I would really love to see it be made a reality for the planes. Let me play at 4-player scaling. Like, I know why solo is tuned the way it is, so if you're solo and you're a player that is maybe not very experienced, you can be fine and you'll still play and there are not a lot of enemies. For me personally, as an experienced player, I want a lot of enemies. I want as many enemies as you can possibly throw at me. And that includes all content, not just PoE, because that shit is so fun when there are tons of enemies. So please, please DE, just give me the option to be like, just pretend I'm 4 people. Just pretend there are 4 people here and give me the enemies. Like, that's all I want. So that stuff looked really cool. The combat looked like it was very full and there was a lot in the plains to always be doing. So much so that Rebecca, like, would just get ambushed while trying to mine and all kinds of good business that I was really happy to see. Fighting the Eidolons, we found out they showed off one of the Eidolons walking around in business and some of its attacks, which are very wide-reaching, let's say, attacks. Those are going to require the warrior operators. This is very, very important, because it means that if you don't have a lot of focus right now, and if you've never farmed it, now might be the time to, like, be hitting your cap every day before this comes out. Because if they're going to be really vital to that, a lot of progression is going to be Eidolons. This is, like, given. So much progress is definitely going to be Eidolons. Like, with the specific vendor that is for, like, teaching you how to fight the Eidolons and all the new armor that we're going to be getting and all that business, you definitely want to get some focus because it is capped. And I don't think the cap is going to be going away with this. That would be kind of odd. We also, as I said before, distance away from the gate determines area difficulty, so new players will be closer up. Like, more experienced players will be everywhere, basically. Oh, and, yeah. It's a lot. The Eidolon Hunter, weapons and armor for operators. There are going to be 3 PoE armor sets at launch. There's not going to be a melee weapon for the operators yet, but they did talk about that in the AMA, which we'll get to in a second. And yeah, just all the things. And then there's some images of, like, there's the Beastmaster, and then here we have Hawk's Anvil, all that business. Lots of things were talked about, and I just wanted to try and get to all of them as quick as I could. But finally, we have the AMA notes. So, this is all the, like, useful information that I could glean out of the AMA, basically. They confirmed that it's going to be 4-player squads, and there is going to be random matchmaking in the planes, so you don't have to worry about always, like, finding friends to form a group. You will be able to randomly match with people for the planes. Snipers may get more tweaks, hopefully buffs, as they are incredibly weak right now. To see those get buffed up would be very nice. Univac was denied again for no real reason. No reason was given. They just said it's up to player choice, and it's very clear to me that the players all choose vacuum. But whatever. And then shield gating is still not happening, which is just in time for the Eidolons to OHKO squishy Warframes. So, awesome. Yeah, AMA, very disappointing. Everything else, fucking awesome. We have so much information and so many things I'm excited for. And I hope you guys are excited for them too. Now, finally, this is some me information. All right. So, down in the description, there is a link to another YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is going to be where I am uploading all of my stream archives from here on out. All the stream archives that are going to be going up for The Witcher, they're going to be going up for Warframe, they're going to be going up for anything else I stream, the recent Wolfenstein gameplay and such that I did yesterday. That stuff is all going to be going up on that channel, as I know there is a lot of you that don't want to see that in your feeds from this channel. For those of you that do want to see that stuff and watch that stuff, I really, really appreciate it. Please go and sub to that channel. That is at the top of the description. And there will also be a couple other relevant links down there for those of you that want to see the new TENNOGEN that got accepted. I didn't have time really to go over that here. But for those of you that want to see all those skins that got accepted, that link is down there below as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I will see you later.